What scares you more? The monster that lives from the shadows? Or the realization that you don't have enough bullets to kill it? Fear, it turns out, has an economy. Welcome to BitViews. Let's dig right in. In 1996, Capcom didn't just create a horror game, they created an anxiety simulator disguised as one. When you first step into the Spencer mansion as Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, you are not just trapped in a house full of monsters. You are trapped in an economy where bullets are currency, herbs are insurance policies, and save files cost you something tangible. Think about that for a moment. In most games of the era, saving your progress was free. It was assumed, a given. But Shinji Mikami and his team asked a question that will define not just Resident Evil, but an entire approach to game design. What if safety had a price? This wasn't just a mechanical decision, it was a philosophical one. The term survival horror itself tells you everything. Not action horror, not adventure horror, survival. Let me paint you a picture. You are Jill Valentine. You have just witnessed Kenneth being eaten. You have 15 bullets. 15! And between you and safety are approximately 20 zombies, 3 dogs, and... oh right, the hunters haven't shown up yet. But they will, and each one can kill you instantly if you are not at full health. And survival, as anyone who's ever balanced a checkbook knows, it's about resource management. Look at this inventory system. 6 slots for Chris, 8 if you are Jill, but he doesn't get the lockpick, so every locked door costs him an inventory space for a key, so I guess it's balanced. And everything takes space. That key item you needed for the puzzle? 1 slot. The crank for the garden? Another slot. Oh, you want to carry healing items? That's cute. Hope you don't need more than 1 weapon then. The item boxes become shrines to difficult decisions. Every trip to one is an admission of failure. Failure to optimize. Failure to predict what you had need. Every zombie you encountered becomes a calculation. Do I have enough bullets to kill it? Can I knife it safely? Should I just run? But if I run, will I have to come back through here later? And if I do, will it still be here? Will there be more? This is the genius of classic Resident Evil. The horror doesn't come from the monsters. Not really. It comes from the spreadsheet in your head. 6 bullets, 3 zombies. Each zombie takes between 3 to 6 shots to drop. Do the math. You can't. And that's the point. The game's randomized damage system means you can never quite calculate your way to safety. You can only estimate, hope. Pray that this zombie takes 3 shots, not 6. Consider the dog hallway. Everyone remembers the jump scare. But the real horror? You just emptied half a clip in panic. Those bullets are not coming back. And you still have to go through that hallway again multiple times. Even the defensive items in the remake tell an economic story. That dagger that saves you from a zombie grab? It's gone forever unless you kill that specific zombie and retrieve it. But killing the zombie costs bullets. But leaving the dagger means 1 less defense later, but the game is built on bots. Sadly, not the best type of bots, but bots nonetheless. I remember my first playthrough. I made it through the Crimson Head encounter with exactly 1 bullet. 1! I've been so careful, so conservative. And yet, the game had been teaching me economics through violence. And then the remake added kerosene, fuel, another resource. Because apparently, the economy wasn't harsh enough, which is basically like Millennial Simulator. Now you need to manage your corpses too. Every unborn zombie is a potential Crimson Head. Every Crimson Head is a bullet tax on future travels through that area. It's like the developers asked, what if zombies had interest rates? By Resident Evil 2, Capcom had refined their economy of terror. Look at this. Leon starts with 8 inventory slots. Claire gets 8 too. But the game throws more at you, more weapons, more ammo types, more key items, more choices. Here's a perfect example. Early in the RPD, you find a weapons locker. You can take the submachine gun or the inventory upgrade, not both. The game is literally asking you, do you want more firepower or more carrying capacity? I have watched streamers spend 5 minutes on this decision. 5 minutes, sometimes even more, for what's essentially choosing between immediate power or long-term efficiency. It's investment strategy disguised as zombie horror. And then they added crafting. Suddenly, you're not just managing resources, you are speculating on futures. Do I make a handgun ammo now or save this gunpowder in case I find more and can make shotgun shells? Look at this system. Gunpowder A makes handgun ammo. Gunpowder B makes shotgun shells. A plus B makes grenade rounds. But here's the kicker. The order matters. A plus B gives you different ammo than B plus A. It's chemistry meets economics meets panic. And they place these gunpowder stashes in the most anxiety-inducing locations. That gunpowder in the interrogation room? Yeah, the one with 3 zombies and a licker on the ceiling. The game asks, how much are you willing to pay for the ability to make more bullets? It's the same psychological trick that makes Magic the Gathering so compelling. The agony of choice, the fear of inefficiency. But then, Resident Evil 2 introduced something that will change everything, a new economic factor. Mr. X. He can be killed, only delayed. Every bullet you put into him is a bullet you are not putting into something that can actually die. He's not just a stalker, he's a walking sunk cost fallacy. Watch how player behavior changes when he appears. Suddenly, routes that were safe become expensive. That hallway you cleared? Now it costs 10 bullets to stun him long enough to pass. That save room you need to reach? Hope you got flashbangs. And let's talk about leakers. The game teaches you they are blind. Walk, don't run. And you can pass them freely. It's brilliant. The game rewards patience with resource conservation. But add Mr. X to the equation and that patience becomes a luxury you can't afford. And then came Nemesis. Resident Evil 3 asked, what happens when you introduce inflation to your horror economy? What happens when there is a recurring cost you can't budget for? The genius, the absolute genius, is that defeating Nemesis rewards you with weapon parts and items. The game turns its most terrifying enemy into a slot machine. Do you spend precious ammo for a chance at better rewards, or do you run, conserving resources but missing potential upgrades? Look at these drops. First encounter, Eagle parts. Second, STI Eagle custom packs. Third, first aid box. The rewards get better, but so does Nemesis. By the 4th encounter, he has a rocket launcher. The house always wins, but sometimes you hit the jackpot. This is behavioral economics applied to horror. The sunk cost fallacy weaponized. You have already spent 20 bullets on Nemesis. Just 10 more and maybe you will get that weapon part. But those 10 bullets might be the difference between life and death 3 rooms from now. Resident Evil 3 also introduced the dodge mechanic. Free damage avoidance, except it requires a skill. Timing, practice. The game offers you a way to save resources, but only if you're willing to invest something else. Risk. Every failed dodge is a healing item consumed. Every successful dodge is pure profit. Even the life selection system was economic. Choose to fight Nemesis in the restaurant, you get items. Choose to escape, you save resources but miss rewards. The game constantly asks, what's your risk tolerance? The fear isn't just that Nemesis might kill you, it's that he might bankrupt you. Notice how the Carlos section feels different? He has an assault rifle, automatic weapon, tons of ammo. Suddenly, you're rich, but the game knows this. The game knows you're rich. Enemy counts increase, hunters appear in groups, the economy scales with your wealth. It's lifestyle inflation in horror form. And then, everything changed.
Welcome! What are you buying?
With 5 words and a bad accent, Resident Evil 4 transformed survival horror into something else entirely. But, here's the thing, it didn't abandon the economy of fear, it evolved it. Gone were the ink ribbons, gone were the limited inventory slots. Well, sort of. In their place, a briefcase. A briefcase. Like Tetris taught us, humans have an innate desire to organize, to optimize. Resident Evil 4 took that desire and turned it into gameplay. Every item has a shape. Every gun has dimensions. Your inventory isn't just a list anymore. It's a puzzle, where the pieces are instruments of death. And you can upgrade your case, but that costs money. Money you could spend on weapons, or upgrades, or healing items. Even your carrying capacity is part of the economy now. But the real revolution? The economy became literal. In previous games, resources appeared in predetermined locations. You could memorize them, plan routes. But Resident Evil 4? Enemies drop currency. Performance affects rewards. Accuracy is incentivized. Suddenly, you are not just surviving, you are performing. Every headshot saves a bullet. Every knife kill saves ammo. Every flash grenade that stuns a group is an investment in future resources. Speaking of knives, look at this. In previous games, the knife was a desperation move. In Resident Evil 4, it's a financial tool. Kick a stunned enemy down, knife them on the ground. You just saved 2-3 bullets. That's 200-300 pesetas worth of ammunition. The knife becomes your salary multiplier. And the upgrade system? God, the upgrade system. Man, I love this game with a passion. Do you upgrade your handgun's power to use less bullets per enemy? Or its capacity to carry more? Do you save for the exclusive upgrade or spread your pesetas across multiple weapons? Do you sell your current gun to afford a better one, losing all your upgrades in the process? Let's talk about the Red 9 versus Black Tail debate. This is something that has been there since forever, it's still a thing in the remake. Young kids don't know about it, but the real ones, we know what is this about. The Red 9 has higher power, 1.9 base, 5.0 fully upgraded. The Black Tail, 1.6 base, 3.4 max. But the Black Tail fires faster, reloads quicker, takes up less space. The better gun might actually be the worst choice depending on your playstyle and economic philosophy. Or consider the Magnum choice. The Broken Butterfly is free. You can find it in the castle. The Killer 7 costs you 77,700 pesetas, but the Killer 7 has a better exclusive upgrade and faster firing rate. You take the free option or invest in the premium model? Trick question. Smart players take the free Broken Butterfly, use it through the castle, then sell it to help buy the Killer 7 later. It's weapon laundering, we know about this. This is years in the making. The TMP, the game's only automatic weapon for most of the playthrough, it shreds through ammo. Conventional wisdom says skip it. But upgraded? With its exclusive 100 round capacity, it becomes an emergency fund, a break glass in case of overwhelmed option. And the game knows it. Look at the regenerators, enemies that require specific weapons, thermal scope rifles, to defeat efficiently. The game forces you to diversify your portfolio, or pay the price in regular ammo. That thermal scope costs 30,000 pesetas. You could buy a lot of healing items with that. But without it, each regenerator costs 50 plus bullets to kill. It's a long-term investment with immediate dividends. Every chainsaw enemy is a market crash, a sudden expense that can wipe out your savings if you're not prepared. Boss fights become budget meetings. The Garrador is blind. You can beat him with just your knife if you're patient and skilled enough. But time is money, and mistakes cost healing items. Do you spend bullets for safety or risk it all for profit? And then there's Ashley. The president's daughter isn't just an escort mission. She's a walking economic liability. Every hit she takes potentially costs you a healing item. Unless you unlock her armor custom. Suddenly, she's invincible. The ultimate economic upgrade, removing a recurrent cost entirely. See, you're learning economics with this video, this is what it is. Speaking of ultimate upgrades, New Game Plus introduces the Chicago typewriter. Infinite ammo. The economy is broken. You have won capitalism. But notice, even then, the game costs 1 million pesetas for it. Even godhood has a price tag in Resident Evil 4. What about professional difficulty? It doesn't just make enemies tougher, it makes them more expensive. Ashley takes more damage. Enemies drop less money. Items cost the same, but you earn less. It's survival horror through economic inequality. Gotta love it. Which brings us to a curious parallel. And I think about this a lot because I grew with these concepts, and yes, we've been doing economic parallels, and even if you remove all the economic lingo, the point still stands. It's about resource management, and that's what scares you. You don't have enough. Can you lose it? What do you do now? Should I risk it? Should I not risk it? And as I got older and a different genre come in, a different type of game became the most popular type of game of the last 10 years. A parallel grew on my mind. When Hidetaka Miyazaki created Dark Souls, he wasn't trying to make survival horror, but he created something that understood the same fundamental truth Resident Evil discovered. Loss is scarier than death. Think about it. In both games, death isn't the worst outcome. It's dying poor. Dark Souls is about overcoming. But overcoming what exactly? It's about overcoming the fear of loss. Every soul you carry is potential power, potential levels, potential equipment. But it's also potential loss. The more souls you have, the more you have to lose. The more you have to lose, the more careful you become. The more careful you become, the more likely you are to make mistakes. This is why likely the freest people in the Souls games are the ones that play with no armor and just let me solo her, I guess. Both games understand that the fear of losing progress, losing resources, is more psychologically powerful than the fear of failure itself. Behavioral economists call this loss aversion. We feel losses twice as powerful as equivalent gains. Resident Evil and Dark Souls don't just understand this, they are built on it. When you're standing in front of that typewriter with one ink ribbon left, you're not just deciding whether to save, you're weighing potential futures. What if I die in the next room? But what if I need this save for later? What if? The games are horror, not because they can kill you, but because they can make you poor. The remakes understood this. Look at how Resident Evil 2 Remake handles resources. It's more generous than the original, slightly, just enough to let you breathe. But then it adds Mr. X, a constant, unkillable drain on your resources. Every encounter with him is a tax on your ammunition if you choose to slow him down, or a tax on your healing items if you don't. The remake modernizes the economy without abandoning its principles. Crafting is streamlined, inventory management is smoother, but the core anxiety, do I have enough, remains. And hardcore mode It brings back ink ribbons. The game literally has a classic economy mode for purists. It's like choosing between Keynesian and Austrian economics, but with more zombies. Look at how knives work now. They are defensive items, but they have durability. Use a knife to escape a grab, it stays in that zombie. When it's back, kill the zombie. But knives can break now. Even your last resort options are finite. Window boards are another brilliant addition. You can block windows to prevent zombie entry. It's an investment in future safety. But boards are limited. Do you board up this window now or save it for a more dangerous room later? It even plays with your knowledge of the game. And yes, we are talking about remakes because after Resident Evil 4 things got a little less resource managing, but the Resident Evil 3 remake took a different approach, adding a shop system, points for performance. Some called it too arcade-like. But consider, isn't this just making explicit what was always implicit? Your performance has always affected your resources. Now there is just a scoreboard there. The enhanced dodge system rewards skill with resource conservation more directly than ever. Perfect dodge into a counterattack? That's free damage. Miss the timing? That's a healing item gone. But look at the higher difficulties. Shop prices increase. Enemies drop fewer items. The economy scales with your presumed skill level. It's dynamic difficulty through inflation. And no, we're not going to touch the fact that the remake of Resident Evil 3 doesn't have all the options of the original and it feels kind of short and it's not at the same level of the remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 4 and it's kind of seen as the black sheep of the remakes and all that. Because then we need to talk about the Resident Evil 4 remake. It understood that the merchant wasn't just a shop, he was a character, a constant in your economy of fear. The remake expands his role, adds new systems, but keeps that fundamental relationship intact. He's your CFO in a world gone mad. It's the same psychological principle, the agony of choice, refined for a modern audience. You sell this ruby now for quick cash or wait to find the matching pieces. And mind you, this wasn't the original one, but now they tweaked a little bit so that you suffer more with this. Exclusive upgrade tickets add another layer. You can unlock a weapon's ultimate upgrade without maxing it out first, but tickets are rare. Which weapon deserves this fast track? It's venture capitalism in horror form. As I said, we don't talk about Resident Evil 5 and 6 for reasons, but Resident Evil 7 brought everything into first person. Resource management stayed central. If anything, it's more stressful in first person. You can't pause to check your inventory. Every reload, every item used happens in real time. The economy never sleeps. Madhouse difficulty changes items locations. Your memorized route? Worthless. The game forces you to relearn its economy from scratch. It's like moving to a new country with different currency. Resident Evil 8 Village continued the tradition. The Duke, like Resident Evil 4's merchant, is everywhere, but he also cooks now, turning hunting into an investment opportunity. That fish you caught isn't just a fish, it's a permanent health upgrade. The game asks, do you explore dangerous areas for ingredients, spending resources for permanent gains? If so, benefits for you. If not, you're lost. Even lei, the currency, tells a story. You find it on bodies, in drawers, hidden in breakable vases. The game implies an economy that existed before the horror. You are literally looting the dead wealth of a destroyed civilization. The mercenaries mode across all games distills this to its purest form. Time is currency. Kills are income. Combos are interest rates. It's capitalism at 120 frames per second, baby. So, what does it all mean? Why does resource management scare us more than the monsters themselves? Because it's real. We have all felt it. The anxiety of checking your bank account, the fear of unexpected expenses, the careful calculation of, can I afford this? Every trip to the grocery store is a micro version of Resident Evil's economy. Do I buy the name brand or generic? Do I stock up now or hope for a sale later? That person hoarding toilet paper during a crisis? They are playing Resident Evil in real life, man. Resident Evil doesn't scare us because zombies might exist. It scares us because scarcity does exist. The most effective horror connects to something true, something we have felt. Every time you hoard green herbs, just in case, every time you switch to your knife to save bullets, every time you take the long way around to avoid a fight, you are not playing a game, you are practicing for life. Look at speedrunners. They have turned resource management into an art form. Every bullet accounted for, every herb calculated. They have solved the economy through repetition and memorization. But for the rest of us, the fear remains. Because we can't memorize life. We can't route plan reality. The 2008 financial crisis, the pandemic shortages, every economic uncertainty we have lived through, they are all Resident Evils. They are all survival horror, where the monster is the empty shelf, the overdrawn account, the pink slip. The health system itself is healthcare economics in miniature. Green herbs heal partially. Red herbs do nothing alone but enhance green herbs. Blue herbs cure poison. Do you use a green herb now at 50% health or wait until you are more hard for efficiency? It's the same calculation as rationing medication when you can't afford more. And that's the genius of Resident Evil. It doesn't just put us in a nightmare. It gives us a budget to survive. And budgets run out. We have all been there. Not in a zombie-infested village, I hope, but at the register, counting change, at the gas pump, putting in exactly $10, looking at our bank balance before the rent is due. The real horror isn't the monster closets or the jump scares. It's the familiar anxiety of not enough time, not enough money, not enough resources to feel safe. But here's the beautiful part. The games also teach us we can survive scarcity, that careful planning, quick thinking, and resource management can see us through the darkest moments. Every time you reach a boss with full ammo, every perfectly organized attached case, every successful run with minimal resources, it's a small victory against the economics of fear. The series continues to evolve. Village added hunting and cooking. Crafting became more complex, the economy expanded. But the core remains unchanged. Even in House Beneviento, the section with no combat, the game takes your weapons away. The scariest part of Resident Evil isn't fighting without resources. It's having no resources to fight with at all. Fear isn't about what kills you. It's about what you lose when you die. And perhaps that's why we keep coming back. Not for the scares, though those are good too, but for the satisfaction of success against scarcity, against adversity. The triumph of making it through with just enough. Look at the challenge runs. Knife only, no merchant, handgun exclusives. Players voluntarily making the economy harder. Why? Because there is something deeply satisfying about conquering scarcity, about proving you can do more with less, about beating the system. Every save room is a bank vault. Every typewriter, a ledger. Every ink ribbon, a deposit slip for survival. Resident Evil taught us that horror isn't just about monsters. It's about math. It's about choices. It's about the terrible, beautiful economy of survival. Your ending screen tells a story. Not just of survival, but of economics. How many saves did you use? How accurate were your shots? How efficiently did you manage the apocalypse? The best endings were never just about living. They were about living well, saving both partners, using minimal resources. The game rewards not just survival, but efficient survival. And every time we start a new game, check our inventory and step into the unknown, we're not just playing, we are investing. To every new player counting their bullets, rationing their herbs, debating whether to use the last ink ribbon, welcome to the economy. Welcome to the real horror. Welcome to the world where the scariest sound isn't a chainsaw revving or a zombie moaning. It's your gun clicking empty when you need it the most. The question is, can you afford to survive?